I'm Kris, I'm 39, I live in North London, I'm T5 paraplegic. I was sadly caught up in the London Westminster Bridge terrorist attack, and I am going through medical retirement for the Metropolitan Police. Moving forward, I've got loads of goals where I can restart my life.
Hi Kris, thanks a lot for chatting with me today.
Hi Sue, glad to be here.
Kris, I wonder if you can tell me a little bit about yourself and your family and maybe something about your situation.
Yeah, so my life situation changed 3.5 years ago, where I was sadly hit by a moving car on Westminster Bridge during the London terrorist attack. It obviously not only affected me with a spinal cord injury, but it affected my family, my partner and my 2 young children. Over the last 3.5 years, things have changed dramatically, and not only am I applying for medical retirement for the Metropolitan Police, but I'm also separating from my partner.
Oh, that's sad. And how old are your children?
I've got a little girl who is 7 and a little boy who is 9.
Okay. So you're not only moving away from the police force and the police family that I think we discussed last time, but also your marital home. How are you feeling about that?
Up until about a week ago, I was fine. But then I realised that there is so much that comes with it in terms of, I've got to prepare adaptions for a new home, etc. But emotionally, I'm a little bit scared because I was discussing with someone earlier that I'm going to be quite lonely. Yes, yeah. We will share the children during the week, weekends, and everything is very amicable. But there's the days and the nights where I haven't got, my marital family with me, and I'm a little bit scared and nervous going forward. Okay.
And so when it comes to playing golf, which I know you're quite passionate about, do you have friends and people around you that can take up some of that slack, if you like?
100%. So I'm a member of the golf course up in North London called the Shire London, and there's a big group of people up here. The camaraderie is amazing. I can just put a text message in, and the next thing I know, there's a few people that will come and join me and play. Not only that, but the machine that I use is called a paragolfer, and there's a couple of people in England as well that use paragolfers, so we kind of get together once every 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and play together on the courses around England as well. So yeah, I've got that can ease any maybe pain that I might be going through due to separation, but also to keep me on the sane side.
Yeah, sure. So what do you get from golfing? Did you golf before your injury?
Yeah, I was quite a good golfer before my injury. That got taken away. Now I'm learning to play again. So the week that we are in at the moment, which is I'm meant to be playing in a Disability Ryder Cup where I got selected for Europe. Pan disabilities, that's meant to be happening at the moment, but due to the current situation, that's been postponed to 2021. Playing golf though gives me definitely a sense of freedom where I can just get away from any worries in my life, and I can just get out there and just ignore any stresses. The only stresses I have is when I miss a putt or I hit the ball into the bushes, etc. But it's great getting out, and it's you can spend 4 or 5 hours on a golf course on a nice sunny day. It's great.
Yeah, a big sense of kind of escapism, I suppose.
It is an escape. Yeah, and using that word to the wrong people I can feel guilty, because if I was to use that in front of my ex-partner to say that I could use it as an escape away from any stresses, any worries at home, that the children might bring on to me that we might be going through, I do get that guilty feeling that then she might think that I just want to run away from the family, which is the complete opposite of what I want to do.
Yeah. Everybody needs to keep their sanity somewhere.
It's true.
Yeah. So what about your goals for a replacement career, perhaps? Have you had any thoughts about that, where you might go in the future?
No thoughts just as yet. I have got a lot going on. The past 6 months have been really, really tough. Still working for the Met Police, now going through medical retirement. I think what I will do is the property that I'm moving into, I'm going to get that up and running, get it made adapted so it's all accessible for me. I am going to get a gym, and my main goal is about getting fitter and losing weight. But in terms of a career, that's the next step. I haven't thought about it. There's going to be things that I enjoy. There's going to be things that I don't want to do. That maybe there's a job, I'm never going to be out on the street anymore with the Met Police. We know that. But do I then want to maybe sit behind a desk in front of a computer screen? It's not me. I'm such an outgoing kind of person that I think I'd get a little bit bored. And I don't mean that disrespectful for anyone who does that job, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So the first things first is get my house sorted, get myself back on track, and the goals in terms of losing weight, getting fitter, and then maybe a career after that.
Yeah, sure. And also it's kind of a voyage of discovery, isn't it? You're going to have to work out what is going to suit the new you.
Exactly that. See what's out there and about, and yeah, just if I get offered something I enjoy it, then I'll take it.
Yeah, good. Can I just pick up on the body image thing that you've hinted at already? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so since I've been in a chair, I can't go and play five-a-side football that I might play. I can't go and walk around a golf course for 4.5 hours and keeping fit that way. So I've put on a lot of weight, and that weight sits around my belly and kind of like my chest area, and it gets me down. I don't like the look of it in the mirror, and to the point where last year I made inquiries about liposuction. It got that drastic that I wanted just to get rid of it all. And going forward, when being a single man, I worry about that I'm not going to be able to get myself out there because of my appearance. Not only people will see a chair, which is one thing, but the next thing is how I look, how I weigh, and so that's what I want to work on. I want to kind of change that because it is a worry for me going forward.
Okay, so do you think, or do you feel that your weight gain impacts on your sexual confidence?
Not my own sexual confidence, no. As in, I'm very outgoing. I can talk my way through a lot of things. But I just feel that in the reverse, it would put people off. And then that's going forward, that's then what worries me. I don't want to grow old and lonely. I'm not looking to rush out and get myself a new girlfriend straight away. That's not what the plan is. But would I like someone in my life as I get older? 100%. And it's finding someone that is comfortable with me and my situation, me in the chair, and someone that's comfortable with my appearance, which I will be. It's my goal to change.
Okay, thank you. So what about on the spinal unit? I'm thinking about quite early on in your injury. How did you go about finding your erection again, for instance, or finding sexual support? If you were such a high sex drive guy, that must have been in your mind?
My sex drive at the moment, it all comes from in the mind. I then saw a doctor there who was known as the sex doctor. I spoke to him about the erection situation, and he put me on tablets for that, and then the erections came when you took the tablet. Now, the only problem with that is that it had to be planned.
Yeah.
It was, are we going to have sex tonight? Do I need to take a tablet at 9 p.m. or anything like that? And that was the turn-off side of it. So it was tough because I needed something to get an erection, but to plan it was all wrong.
Yeah.
So I did move on to a second option, which is a daily tablet, which then an erection can come and go as I thought about it. So I used that, but again, because I haven't got a lot of feeling down there, it's very numb. It all comes from in the head and in the brain. But there were, by using this product, I could climax and ejaculate as well.
And did you have a big sense of relief on ejaculation?
Yeah, 100%. Like any man, there is a big relief.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about your continence, Kris? Can you explain to me what the situation is with your bladder and bowel?
Yeah. So bowels I take Senna every evening, and then I will use suppositories. I don't have a set time that I do it. I'm usually in the evening, usually once a day, sometimes every other day. And if I haven't drunk enough fluids, there might have to be the odd manual evacuation. But usually I can sit there for 20 to 30 minutes, which is quite a long time. And you can kind of get numb in places, but then naturally it will happen. When it comes to bladder, you can catheterize anything between 4 and 6 times a day. Again, depending on my fluid intake, I do that. And I do get a little sense of feeling in my bladder when I need to go to the toilet, but it's usually when it's very full. Because I've got an overactive bladder, and it used to be a case that I couldn't hold much more than 150 to 200 ml of fluid. So every 4 to 6 months, I do have Botox, bladder Botox as well. So I do have to be careful, again, knowing how much fluid I have taken in, because I always don't get that feeling, so I do know to go and empty my bladder. So it's remembering.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balance, isn't it, between drinking plenty for your bowel and then managing that fluid intake for your bladder.
Exactly, yeah. Especially when it comes to alcohol as well, because if I'm out for the evening and I have a few pints with the boys, I might then suddenly get that pain and think, oh, I should have gone after the first, or I should have gone after the second pint, etc. So it's not always nice. Sometimes that feeling can be quite a painful one inside where your bladder is. So yeah, it's balancing that intake and making sure that I am emptying at regular times.
But is it fair to say that you very rarely have an accident?
Yeah, very rarely. The only time that I'll have an accident is if I do suffer of a UTI, or if my Botox is wearing out. But what we usually do is with the Botox, we'll just plan it 4 months or 6 months in, like each time. So I know that my top up will be just before it starts to run out from the last one. So we kind of cover it there. But yeah, as I said, I might only have an accident if I do suffer with a UTI.
Yeah, and bowel accidents aren't a feature?
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all, never.
So I'm thinking now about, your aspirations for a future partnership at some point. How do you think the bladder and bowel situation might affect that process?
That's one of my scary things. How do you, for example, it's speed dating. What do? Do you tell them everything straight away? It's like, for example, on the flip side of it, a female saying, I want to get married and I want to have 3 children. What do I say? I'm in a chair, I've got a spinal cord injury, and I use a catheter for my bladder, and I have to use suppositories for my bowels. When do you approach those subjects? Who knows? What comes first, that or the I love you bit? I don't know. So yeah, that's scary. That's definitely scary. A lot of people don't know the whole effects for a spinal cord injury. They just think that your legs don't work or you're in a wheelchair. They don't know about bladder, bowel, sexual function. I might get a leaflet printed and hand it to them after the second or third date, and they can read through, and if they text you back, then you know you're still in. So yeah, I think that will affect it, because, going through the separation, we were partners before for like 10 years, we've got 2 young children, And we went through everything together. The whole of the accident, the whole of my rehab in hospital, the whole, everything at home now. Now, I do have an assistant at home that might help me if I have bad spasms and tone with dressing. But when it comes to bladder and bowels, I've always, apart from the early days in hospital, always managed them myself. Never before have I had any help. As I get older, there may be the time where I might be on holiday and I do need help. And then whoever I go on holiday with may need to step in and assist me. But we will see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
And you can gather all of these things, can't you? The bladder and the bowel and the sexual function and the wheelchair, and allow them to become massive barriers to yourself.
Yeah, they are. They are a barrier, yeah. I remember being in hospital and there was always the talk of, you want people to see you first and not the chair. That's fine. But obviously, as an image, you are in a chair, so people will see that. But then the barriers of bladder, bowel, sexual function is on top of that as well. I'm not going to say you're fighting a losing battle, because you're not, that you're going to get through it. But it's a scary task to get there. And yet, my sex life has dropped a little bit. Will it get back on track again? Who knows? I use the word "who knows" quite a lot, because I know what I want. I've just got to go and get it, and I've got to cross a few bridges to get it as well.
Yeah. It's not quite time yet.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I wanted to ask about, Kris, was relationships, just general relationships. I'm not talking about your marital relationship here. But how have you found friendships throughout this whole process? Have people dropped away or come around you?
Far from it. While in hospital, I was told by the nurse who was head of the unit, in the spinal unit, that in her 15 years or 20 years at the hospital, she's never had a patient that's had so many guests as me.
Okay.
Not only my family, but at the time, my partner's family as well. I've had all of my friends from the Metropolitan Police. I've had all of my friends that I used to play golf with. I've got all of my friends that I went to school with and grew up all through the years. In my early 20s, I was a holiday rep, and I used to work in places like Greece, Turkey, Andorra, Italy, and all my old rep friends got back in contact. People were driving from, north of the country, Scotland, to come down and visit me. So everyone took their time to come and see me, and then my friends who I grew up with, would do nights out down a little local pub, and they'd sneak me back into hospital and bits and pieces. So no one disappeared. It was more people piped up to send their love and see how I was.
That's amazing. So would you have any top tips for other people travelling the same journey as you?
I would recommend talking to people. If you've got any worries about anything, about your body, your appearance, any changes that you might be going through, whether it be going to see a GP, whether it's speaking to a friend or family member, try not to hold things in. Really don't, because that's where slumps can start. So definitely talk about things, research things as well. I would also say that you need to get up and get out there as well. Get up in the morning, get dressed, go out, do some bits and pieces, invite friends over, and just try and enjoy your life to the max. Whatever the maximum you can do it.